Live from the Richard Harris Law Firm Studios, this is the VGK Insider Show with Darren Millard and Ryan Wallace on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
Welcome in, Vegas Golden Knights Insider Show, Fox Sports Las Vegas. Ryan Wallace, Darren Millard, Joe Costa hanging out with you for the next 2 hours as we get ready for game number 4, breakdown game 3 from the weekend. What an epic. How we doing, boys?
Well, let's get through it. Tell me all about your night the other night.
Oh, it was fantastic. It was amazing. It was unbelievable. I don't know, like, we went probably an hour and a half on the post-game show. We had a ton of calls. Everybody was really excited about the fact that the Golden Knights were able to win that one in double overtime. Not terribly happy about the third period and the goals that Carolina was able to score, 3 in 39 seconds to make it a game and push it to overtime, but happy with the result nonetheless, and it was an all-timer. Like, it was just one of those games that I think, I'll remember forever. I've never been a part of something like that.
So was it more relief or was it joy? And you can't say both.
I'd say more relief. Definitely more relief.
In what way?
Well, I think again, the fans that called up, right? They were all focused on you can't take your foot off the gas, which I disagreed with. I didn't think the Golden Knights took their foot off the gas in the third period. I think Carolina made a couple of plays, some fortunate bounces, all of those things. But it was relief to win the game after surrendering a 4-goal lead in the third period. When you have an opportunity like that, when you have a 4-goal lead going to the third, you don't want to let the other team off the mat. Carolina worked themselves back into the game, and I think it was absolute relief for Golden Knights fans that the Golden Knights were able to get the win, hold on for the win in that game, thanks to Shea Theodore winning it in double OT.
Golden Knights and the Carolina Hurricanes played a very low-event first period. That's the part that jumps out. When you look back at the night in totality, the first period was a period that did not belong at all.
No, not at all. It was, as you mentioned, low event. There weren't a ton of scoring chances. It was really tight out there. The physicality jumped off the page for me anyway on the Golden Knights side of the ledger in the first period. And, to your point, nothing really happened. And then in the second period, the third period, overtime, there were plenty of chances. Everything happened. It was unbelievable.
A couple of updates from the teams who returned to practice today at City National Arena was jammed. It was on the level of 2023, certainly the first couple of years. It was lined up out the door for practice today. Great excitement, great enthusiasm about a team that's up 2-1 in the Stanley Cup final. Noah Hannafin, Braden McNabb did not skate today. Maintenance days for them. Are expected to be back on the ice for Game 4 tomorrow. For the Carolina Hurricanes, Frederik Andersen, the goaltender, who has started the first 3 games, has played every minute but the third period and the 2 overtimes the other night for the Carolina Hurricanes in this Stanley Cup postseason. Did not practice today, and that's 2 straight days off the ice. William Carrier, who left Game 3 early, was back on the ice. The former Vegas Golden Knights got a nice bit of applause back with the T-Mobile Arena faithful at the Fortress the other night. So both teams were practicing today after taking yesterday away from the rink in the first 2-day break of the Stanley Cup final, gathering tomorrow night, 5 o'clock face-off for Game 4. The Golden Knights trying to put back-to-back wins together, which would give them a 3-1 series lead. If not, it will be tied up at 2 and into a best of 3.
Yeah, it's a real big opportunity in front of the Golden Knights going into Game 4, and that's kind of the focus that I think the team will have in understanding what's ahead of them. Right, this is a huge swing in the series by virtue of that double overtime victory in Game 3, and if you can go up 3-1, if you can take care of business on home ice, then you really push Carolina against the wall. So. It's going to be interesting to see what we get in Game 4 because, so far through 3 games in this series, no lead is safe.
And does anybody have the edge? It's 2-1 in games for the Vegas Golden Knights, but do you look at it and say Vegas has been the better team and are worthy of the 2-1 series lead, or do you look at it where they've got one or two extra plays, and that's right why they're up one game after three?
Yeah, I think I'd lean more toward the Golden Knights have been able to make a couple of extra plays. I think that it's been a fairly even series. Now, I think the Golden Knights have probably had more control in over the three games, just in terms of, the game score and the ability to make plays earlier on in games. I think that's probably leaning more toward Vegas, but Carolina has shown that they're never out of a game. The Golden Knights have shown that they're never out of a game. I think that these are two very evenly matched teams, two teams that are incredibly resilient, and I think it's just been a matter of Vegas finding a way to make a couple of extra plays so far through three games.
The second and third the other night in Game 1 to start the series belonged to Vegas, so I gave them full marks for that victory, even though they had to come back from a 2-0 deficit. Game number 2, they led for a majority of the game, and it got away from them. And the other night, the Golden Knights were the better team in the second period by far, and I really liked their game in the front half of the third period. I didn't mind their overall game in the third period. There's 39 seconds that got away from them, and then a power play goal that found its way into the back of the net at the end. The only little stretch that I would be concerned about in looking back at the three games by Vegas was the first overtime. I thought they were a little tentative, maybe a little nervous, and why wouldn't you be after the shock of what you just experienced in the third period of Game 3? But that's it. Other than that, I think the Golden Knights have either carried the play or been able to be very even in that first three-game stretch.
So, do you look at that first overtime as a carryover of sorts of the final 10 minutes of the third period in Game 2, or do you think that as far as Vegas goes, it wasn't really that big of a stretch where Carolina was able to push and come back in the third period in that game?
Yeah, I didn't see Carolina swarming Vegas in the third period. Yeah. They scored 4 goals, and they scored 4 goals on 3 straight shots, and it was they were good plays, but everything went in, and it was so quick the way it happened. It was confounding the way it happened. Very rarely, if I can't remember anything like that occurring. To be perfectly honest, especially on that stage, it was almost like you were in a twilight zone. The way it occurred, but you get beyond that, and I thought Vegas, the Golden Knights, answered that surge from Carolina, and they didn't spend a whole lot of time pinned in their zone. It wasn't one of those ones where you could feel it coming. Then it happened, and then you were just holding on for dear life. It wasn't that situation. So after 3 games, I think Vegas deserves to be up 2-1. They've made a couple of extra plays. They certainly got a couple of bounces. Mitch Marner's goal the other night that was knocked into the Carolina zone by a defender, and the bounce off the end boards by Shea Theodore. I'm not going to shy away from they got a couple of breaks, but I also think that they've been in a place where they've earned those breaks.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way of looking at it. And, to your point about the third period for Carolina, I remember Saturday night kind of getting into a bit of an argument with Papa Lou about the fact that I didn't think the Golden Knights were overwhelmed by Carolina, and I didn't think they took their foot off the gas, right? I think there was certainly you look at the 3 goals, you look at the 3 plays, it's bang, bang. It wasn't a scenario where the Golden Knights were hemmed in. It wasn't a scenario where Carolina was rolling over shift after shift after shift. It was a couple of plays that happened in quick succession, and they end up in the back of the net by varying circumstances. But I don't think that it was one of those overwhelming situations where Carolina hems you in, overwhelms you, and then breaks you down that way. It just didn't happen that way.
I've got a top 5 moments of Game 3. And I think you're going to be
Okay.
surprised where the top 5 itself, you could probably guess what's on there.
Okay.
But the
Okay.
order of them has surprised some people that I've walked through my assessment from the game that gives the Vegas Golden Knights 2 victories in the Stanley Cup Final, halfway to the second championship in team history. We'll get to that in just a little bit. But first, let's get back to practice from earlier today. John Tortorella spoke to the media coming off a day off and getting back to work in the Stanley Cup Final.
How important is it having a room full of players who have been in this situation, being so close to the Cup?
Well, you just answered it, right? They have experience, and I think they've gone through a number of different processes through the first few rounds. They're ready to go.
We'll go left side, front row, Steve.
John, what's impressed you about the collective effort by your forwards to come back into your defensive end, help the D, help the goalie? Some of them didn't always do it, but here they've been doing that for you.
No, we've been, as far as, I'm not going to get into the X's and O's with you here, but we've done a good job as far as not getting outnumbered.
Right side, front row, Paul.
John, it seems like you talked about the experience there, but how big is someone like Riley Smith who's just going to show up to the rink and kind of help you guys just get things going? And also, you mentioned earlier in the playoffs that it's killing you not to play him. Is it still killing you today?
So the question is, I'm not sure.
How big is Riley been into the room and getting over that?
Yeah, I'm not in a room a whole bunch, but Riley's, I mean, he's one of the originals, right? And a great pro. It sucks that you have to sit out, but he's handled himself really well. He's a seasoned pro. He understands how to handle this type of situation. He's worked hard as far as and it's hard for those guys to be sitting out and just practicing and waiting, but he's handled himself really well.
Left side, front row, Adam.
One of the things Brett Howden talked about this morning was that he had to learn to find consistency in his game and shift to shift, compete on every single shift. What have you seen from him in terms of that and his growth as a player?
Just that. You guys are asking me questions you have answers to. He's been consistent. Yeah, it speaks for itself how he's played. He's playing with a ton of confidence. It's a good match on that line with Bill and Mitchie. And he has, he does a lot of things right now, and I think he just has that type of confidence in him.
Left side, fourth row, Pierre.
John, what do you attribute the way the game is played today? We talked about how crazy this final has been. I think back to your 04 Cup final, how tight checking Tampa Calgary was. The first goal mattered so much. Is this coaching? Is it speed and skill now on all 4 lines? Why has the game changed so dramatically?
Well, I think that our game there's so much skill, the speed of it, and I think it's a game full of mistakes. It is. And it comes with youth, how young the league is. Although in this situation, there's a lot of veteran players in this Cup final, but the league itself. It's gone that way. You can see it during the regular season too, that no lead is safe. It comes to coaching too. I think sometimes coaching, how much coaching you're going to do. Sometimes it's a game of mistakes. You have to live with some of those, right? And to pinpoint and give you an exact answer on where our game's gone to, I can't. But I know in this final, during these games here, I have zero answers as far as the lead changes going back and forth. We're trying to play defense. They're trying to play defense. Give the credit to the players as far as some of the plays they've made and just some of the bounces that have gone to each team.
In that same row, Bill.
John, what is it like to practice in this atmosphere, and what does this scene today say about the relationship between the team and the community here in Vegas?
Yeah, I think in both communities. I mean, this is the finals. It's both buildings during the regular season and throughout the playoffs love their team. They show up to support them. They're reaping the benefit in watching the first 3 games of this series. I think it's been very entertaining for them, and to have them come out here today, there is a bond. I mean, that's we're kind of in the entertainment business here, and to me, it's good to have people in the building. I think the players practice harder. I think they're entertainers. They love having people around to see them play. So I thought it was fantastic today.
We'll take a few more. Right side, second row, Dan.
John, Tomas Hertl, when you got here, what did you see in his game, and what, if anything, is different about his game right now?
Well, the thing that stuck out is he hadn't scored a goal forever, right? And with Tommy, that weighed on him. I could see that right away. And but the thing I liked about how we went about it is he kept on working on the other part of his game and away from the puck. And again, I forget what, at least when I was here, what the first goal he scored. I didn't think it was a pretty goal. You guys may remember. I don't. But any time a goal scorer scores a goal, it just takes pressure off of him. And I think he's taken off from there. Well liked in the room. A very important player for us because it gives us some balance within our lineup. So played very well. Face-off guy. Power play guy. He's got to stay on top of himself, though. It's a really fast-paced series. He's got to stay on top of himself as far as the speed of the game.
Right side, front row, Hannah.
John, for the past 3 months, you've been talking about mindset and mental toughness. But I guess Game 3, last game, that was the biggest show of the team's mental toughness so far. What does it say about them, just how well they were able to rebound, reset after that bad 40-second period?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been our foundation. And I know prior for me coming here, it was going on during the regular season too, how they just handle themselves. I haven't been involved in the game, especially a playoff game, when a team scores 3 goals within 40 seconds in the finals. That can set you back a little bit. It didn't affect us. There was no panic. I actually thought we were playing really well up to that point, and I thought we played really well after that point. So they get it. It's the only way I can explain it to you guys is they get it. They've been there. A lot of this team has won and gone through the process of going through playoffs, and they rely on that. And I think they challenge themselves, and it isn't a physical skill, as you just said. It isn't a physical skill. It's a mental skill, and we have that. I don't know if we win the series, but I know we have that in this organization.
Last one, side in the back, Mike.
John, back here, in the back row here, we have some of the top prospects that'll be drafted at the end of the month. What advice would you give to them as they come into the league?
No, I just talked to them. I'll keep my conversation with them. Yep. You're always nostalgia, aren't you, back there?
Mike Zeisberger from NHL.com asking that last question to John Tortorella regarding the top prospects that make a yearly appearance at the Stanley Cup Final and give the prospects an opportunity to see the game on its biggest stage. And back in 2015, that was Noah Hanifin. Mm-hmm. That was Jack Eichel. That was Mitch Marner. All together at the Stanley Cup Final involving the Chicago Blackhawks and Tampa Bay Lightning. And now those three are together on a team contending for the Stanley Cup. Now, they were watching a team in Chicago that had Brandon Saad on it. And yeah. now they're teammates with Brandon Saad and all kind of pulling in the same direction.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a full circle type of moment, right? Like, obviously, you start to think about the top prospects and where they might be in 5 or 10 years or whatever the case may be. But in the reality of Jack Eichel and Noah Hanifin and Mitch Marner, in 2015, they were at the Stanley Cup Final and they were watching Brandon Saad win a Stanley Cup championship. Like, it's pretty remarkable that now here you are 10 years into the future, 11 years into the future, you're teammates with the guy. You're chasing down the ultimate prize with the guy as well. I think that's a really cool moment, something to kind of keep an eye on because, who knows? what the future will hold for the prospects and some of the players right now for the Vegas Golden Knights and what they might be able to do as we get deeper and deeper and more time passes.
Big reason why you should show up early tomorrow for Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final at T-Mobile Arena. We'll let you know on that. Plus, Tomas Hertl, Jeremy Lauzon, Rasmus Andersson, and Mitch Marner all straight ahead. This is the VGK Insider Show. Vegas Golden Knights lead the Stanley Cup Final 2-1 on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
Now, back to the VGK Insider Show.
First two-day break at the Stanley Cup Final. Boy, did we need it. Did the players need it? Did the fans need it? Vegas leads the series 2-1, entering Game 4 tomorrow. I almost feel like we should go back and just offer like a real-time analysis of how crazy the third periods have been in this series. Because it's interesting when you just talk about them as a one-off. But when you put the 3 third periods together, you get an hard-to-believe, difficult to digest 3 periods of hockey.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. It's interesting because you look at Game 1, which featured 3 goals and a couple of lead changes, and that might have been the tamest of the third periods in this series, right? For the Golden Knights, they were able to score just about 90 seconds in, Brett Howden to make it 4-3, and then Shane Gostisbehere on a controversial icing call just past the midway point in the third period ties the game, and then you get the play from Colton Sissons.
But everybody thought you were going to overtime right then.
Yeah,
everybody in the
100%.
rink
You're
thought that
right.
game was headed for overtime.
Yeah, absolutely. And yet the Golden Knights just kind of unfazed, go down and they make a play. And it was, we talked about it, the play, the pass from Colton Sissons to Tomas Hertl on that goal was amazing. It was fantastic. And so, you look at that game number 1, features 3 goals. It features 4-4 in the third period. And to your point, yeah, you think you're going to overtime, and the Golden Knights find a way to make a play, and they win the game.
The winner scored with under 3.5 to go. The Golden Knights capitalizing on erasing a 2-0 deficit early in the game. In Game 2, Vegas, Carolina, the Canes entered the third period at home down 2-0. Vegas 10 minutes away, as they're looking at it, from taking a 2-0 series lead on the road when Carolina scores 3 straight goals to take the lead after a controversial goal that stood or took away a goal by the Vegas Golden Knights. The challenge puts Vegas shorthanded, and the Carolina Hurricanes are able to erase their own multi-goal deficit to take the lead. Mark Stone ties it with the extra tacker on with about a minute and a half to go before the game's won in overtime by the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah, and what's interesting about the third period to me in game number 2 is, Carolina scores 3 goals in just over 5 minutes, but the Golden Knights, you mentioned Jordan Stahl's goal on the power play coming after a failed challenge from the Golden Knights, but Vegas stopped the bleeding, right? They went down, they made a play. Ivan Barbashev put the puck in the back of the net after the first 2 goals of the period for Carolina, so it's not that there wasn't a response earlier from Vegas. They made a play, it just didn't work out in their favor, and then Carolina was able to keep their momentum going that way.
So a couple of rallies, they exchange comebacks in Carolina, and then the occurrence of Game 3 and the 4-0 lead for the Vegas Golden Knights going into that third period. And there was no taking their foot off the gas. They dominated the first couple of minutes of that third period. Had a penalty shot by Mitch Marner off a breakaway. Sebastian Aho whistled for the slash. Mark Stone was in alone. I love that idea of taking the clapper. Vegas was right there trying to add to their lead, which was 4 goals, and boom, boom, boom. 3 straight shots go in, and it wasn't like it was 3 straight shots with one fluky one thrown in there. It was 3 good plays, and Carolina is able to eventually tie up the game and add that much coveted 4th goal. And that exchange, that left everybody's jaws on the floor trying to figure out what just happened. And that had never, a team had never in the Stanley Cup final come back in the 3rd period down 4 and won the game. And you're thinking, is this, like, after the first 2 games, is this what we're really going to see? This kind of history? Vegas was able to dodge it, but not, and it would dodge it in double overtime. But that 3rd period was the most surprising period of hockey that I've witnessed.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I felt it Saturday night after the game. I felt it since, having some time and to digest the game. I don't think the Golden Knights took their foot off the gas. I think Carolina made 3 plays, and it happened to be 3 consecutive plays, and they all go into the back of the net. Sometimes that happens in hockey. It's rare that it happens, and it's rare that it happens in the 3rd period in 39 seconds in the Stanley Cup final, but it did. And
that never happens. That was a record.
Right. Yeah, but I guess the point is, right, like, the Golden Knights were able to reset. They were able to get themselves back on track. They were able to put in some good minutes. Obviously, Svechnikov ties the game late 6-on-4, but I don't think that there was any real panic in the Golden Knights game, and I thought that they were pretty good in the first overtime and certainly able to make some plays in the second one.
Golden Knights lead it to 2-1 going into Game 4. We've got some more reaction and conversation from practice earlier today, in which the Golden Knights were back on the ice. A good spirited skate in front of a jammed house, standing room only, and in fact, the people were lined up down the hall. It was just spectacular. You see the enthusiasm of the Vegas Golden Knights faithful, and how fun it was in and around the facility today. Gives you just an extra little bit of jump. But let's check out Rasmus Andersson and his thoughts after practice today going into Game 4 tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we come out on the right side, it's fine. But, it's a few things we went through this morning that we need to do a little bit better. So, just, I don't know, stick with it, I guess. But, it's a series. It's, there's a lot of ups and downs, so just stick with it.
You've got the 2-1 series, I mean, so you're in the driver's seat, you're in control, but it's control kind of felt like a difficult thing to maintain.
Yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, you're in the Stanley Cup Finals. There's 1,000 emotions going through your body, and I mean, obviously you want to stay in control, but it's hockey. It's a fast game. Mistakes going to happen, and I think over the course of the 3 games, I think we've been playing some really good hockey. And seven periods out of 9, I think we've been playing some great hockey. So just got to stick with it, honestly.
What went through your mind when I woke up yesterday and was like, did that really happen? Like, did you have some of that yourself?
No. I don't know, the 2 games that's gone to double overtime, it's like when we score that goal, it's just like a relief, right? Like, and the happiness kind of comes later when you get in the dressing room, when you get home, and when you wake up the next day. So it's more relief in the moment, I think, and then obviously on your way home, and when you get home, that's when you kind of, what just happened, right? Like, we were up 4-0, and they came back, and credit to them for coming back, but it all happened so quick, honestly, where as I said, it's a fast game, it's a game of mistakes, and they capitalized on their 3rd period, and as I said, we had a lot of good looks too in the 3rd, but we couldn't score. So it was more when I got home. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, that was a game.
What does it matter to you who they? It sounds like they may change goalies. Do you look at that at all, or does it matter to you?
Not today. I mean, today you're trying to get through practice, and and then we'll worry about that kind of stuff tomorrow.
I'm sorry. Speaking of that, is this now the time? You played the 3 wild games, you've had 2 days off, where you kind of have to put that behind and just start looking forward to what's next? How do you do, can you do that?
I just think every game you got to put the last game behind you, and that's what playoffs is all about. I mean, obviously, personally, I was pretty disappointed after game 2. A mistake leads to their 2-1, they get momentum, and but at the same time, you just got to put that behind you and come to work the next day and try to have a better game. And even if you win 5-0 or you win in double OT or you lose, you got to put the last game behind you and just be ready to work the next day if it's a practice or game. And I think we've done a good job with that all the playoffs.
Is this fun at all? Is this fun?
Yeah. It's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of pressure, but pressure is fun, and we're athletes. We want to be in these moments, so just trying to enjoy it as much as I can, and try to grow more and more for each game that goes by.
And they were all, both sides, really thankful for yesterday's day off. Having 2 days between games 3 and 5, or 3 and 4, was perfect in the sense of not only did they play 3 games in 5 days and traveling across the country in between it, but you also had a pair of overtime games. You had parts of extra 3 periods, and I think that's good. There are traditionalists who like to go every second day, but just for the quality of hockey, I think having an extra 2 games or 2 days sprinkled into this series is beneficial for the sport and for the level of play.
Yeah, I think you need a break, right? And I have come to accept and understand and to some degree appreciate the 2-day breaks usually when you are switching venues or switching cities, right? It's typically after game number 2. It's typically after game 4, 5, 6, the rest of the way. And it's a little bit unique, a little bit different in this setup and situation. But, I think for the players, the extra day now is incredibly beneficial because to your point, you played some overtime. It's been incredibly intense. The momentum shifts and swings inside of the game are taxing mentally as well. So from that perspective, getting an opportunity to get away and just recharge is massive for both sides. And I'm expecting the level of play that the hockey is going to be tremendous when we return to action tomorrow.
Noah Hannafin did not practice today. Braden McNabb took a maintenance day as well. Both are expected to play tomorrow night. Doesn't sound like there's anything going to keep them out of the lineup. But there's a reason why you need maintenance days too. So I'm not going to discount that there's 100% feeling in there. Certainly with Braden McNabb after taking an 80-mile-per-hour puck to the face. Tomas Hertl was great in summing up that situation the other night after Game 3, saying a lot of players might not come back next year. Never mind 2 days later. After that situation. So big props from the Golden Knights room. Teammates, coaches, management, all the staff to the just pursuit of excellence, and no matter what stands in the way, he's going to try and play. And Braden McNabb elevated himself to legendary status. I think Game 3, when all is said and done in a couple of years, with all due respect to the hat trick and the 4 points from Mitch Marner, double overtime game winner from Shea Theodore, that will go down in Golden Knights history as the Braden McNabb game. 2 days after spending most of the game in Raleigh in the hospital, after taking that puck to the face, he goes out and plays 35 minutes, and it's a strong 35 minutes, plus 3, couple of assists. That's the stuff that they talk about 20 years from now.
Yeah, it's a legendary game. I don't think there's any other way to put it. It's one of those situations that there's maybe one of one in terms of players in the National Hockey League that can go out and do what Braden McNabb did, that would be willing and wanting to go out and do what he did. You mentioned the shot that he took in game number 2, spending the most of the game in the hospital, all of those things, and then to come back 48 hours later, be on the ice, playing with his team, battling with his team. It was unbelievable. And it's what Brayden McNabb is as a player. It's who he is as a person. It's all of those things. And then to go out there, have it be a double overtime game, as you mentioned, nearly 36 minutes of ice time for Brayden McNabb, a couple of assists, including an assist on the game winner in double overtime. It is a legacy game, a legacy performance for Brayden McNabb.
It's perfect that he's an original guy, misfit. Just adds to the lore of Brayden McNabb. And I'm not going to say he'd be the only guy in our sport to do that. It's a great sport with a lot of guys who will fight through injury and ailments to play, but it's a small list that would do what he did the other night. And just think about it next time you hear a person that can't play in another sport. Like that's hockey right there. What we heard and saw from Brayden McNabb. I certainly wouldn't do it. I don't know how big of a group it would be that would put themselves through that. But obviously he was cleared to play. You're not going to put a player in any type of position where they're going to injure themselves any further. The cage protects them. But you could see it in the post-game interview, his face, where in and around the nose where the damage was done. That there was damage done there, and you just don't sit there and go, I'll take an Advil and go out and do it. Like you're going to be feeling some serious discomfort, even with a cage on.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I guess kind of the reality for me is not only the willingness to want to do it, and you're right, it's probably more than one. I don't know how short the list would be for players that are going to be in that situation, that are going to be able to go out and want to play 48 hours later. But the reality is to not only go out there and play, but be good, right? Like to be Brayden McNabb is another layer to it. It's one thing to want to be out there battling with your teammates. It's another thing to be dealing with the pain, going through that adversity in that situation, and being your regular self, making the plays that Brayden McNabb can make. A huge hit along the boards to Taylor Hall in the third period. Just so many different things that he brings to the table, that he adds to this team, and he went out there and there was no drop-off in his game. That's tremendous to me. It's superhuman.
Mentioned, I think on our pregame show on Script Sports the other day, and the idea that fame or the feeling of greatness can be fickle between games 1 and 2. We saw that with Tomas Hertl, the hero in game number 1, in the penalty box for the Carolina Hurricanes game-winning goal in overtime in game 2. Another thing I was in my head going, it almost looks like a different sport between one play to the next, and they both decide the game. Like Seth Jarvis and his overtime winner in game 2 was a beautiful play, a great shot fake from Gostisbehere, and Jarvis one-times that puck in from the flank, and no opportunity for Carter Hart to get over and make that save. And then a puck that crossed the line to win a hockey game a couple of days later in Vegas in double overtime isn't even a shot on goal. And Shea Theodore gets the puck to bounce off the end boards in the. It obviously hit on an edge for it to bounce out on that angle and be able to go off of 2 Carolina Hurricane players, and then the bottom of the foot of the goaltender and into the back of the net. They both count. They both win hockey games in the Stanley Cup final, but they couldn't be more different.
No, absolutely not. It's pretty interesting, and I guess that's the thing that I pull out of it. especially going into double overtime, is it's never a bad idea to throw the puck to the net. You never know what's going to happen. It's rarely going to be a play that you look at and you say, wow, what a fantastic play
Like
that
the Jarvis
ends a
play.
game, like the Jarvis play that ends a game deep into overtime. And it wasn't super deep into the second overtime, but it was still, 23 extra minutes of hockey, 25 extra minutes. Those are the types of plays you have to be willing to make.
That's
And,
what concerned me about Carolina, because they do a ton of that in getting pucks to the net. And you can't help but be surprised at times that they decide to shoot from there. The old adage, who shoots from there? Well, Carolina Hurricanes do. They shoot from everywhere. The shots on net ended up have been even throughout the series, but they do direct a lot more pucks in towards the goal. And because of that and what you just illustrated, that gave me a little bit of pause going into overtime, because they are willing to just toss it towards the goal and hope for a break. And ironically, it was the Golden Knights who got that good bounce.
Yeah, it's interesting, because if you would have told me that, one team was going to make a really fantastic play to win a game in overtime, and another would throw the puck to the front of the net or toward the net and a weird bounce, I would have had them flipped.
Yeah.
I would have had Vegas as the team that makes the pretty play that puts it in the back of the net, and Carolina as the team that gets the fortunate bounce. But that's the reality of the situation. You don't know what you're going to get, and you can't predict what's going to happen in the Stanley Cup final.
More reaction from the Golden Knights practice today. We'll get into that as we continue. Mitch Marner to come, and Tomas Hertl and Jeremy Lauzon together at the podium. We'll tee up hour number 2 for you on Fox Sports Las Vegas. Stay with us.
Live from the Richard Harris Law Firm Studios, this is the VGK Insider Show with Darren Millard and Ryan Wallace on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
Stanley Cup Final resumes tomorrow. Game 4, T-Mobile Arena at the Fortress. Vegas Golden Knights lead the championship series 2-1. Golden Knights will try to take the game, win back-to-back for the first time in this championship series. Big swing game.
Mm-hmm.
You're up 3-1 or it's 2-2 going back to Carolina. Tomorrow night has a large say on where this series will go. Up 3-1 after starting the series on the road is a big advantage historically in the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, I mean, it's massive, right? Like, I don't know the numbers. I assume you've got them, or you're going to give us an indication of what a 3-1 series lead versus a 2-2 after 4 games situation looks like. But it's huge for Vegas in the sense that you can push Carolina to the wall. Like, you've got them on the ropes. Can you deliver another blow and turn every game the rest of the way into a must-win game for Carolina?
What I see happening is a trend that we've watched in the first 3 rounds of the Stanley Cup playoffs for the Vegas Golden Knights. Is it's close early, and there's back and forth between the games. It was a series against the Utah Hockey Club, the old Mammoth, that Vegas actually trailed 2-1. And we're in overtime in Game 4. Found a way to win 3 in a row, end that series in 6. Back and forth. Trade victories in the first 4 against the Anaheim Ducks. But you get better as the series goes on, and you end it decisively in Game 6. Go to the Western Conference Final. On the road. Win a couple of close games. But you do it in a way that really damaged the Colorado Avalanche. You won after trailing going into the third period of Game 2. You erased a 3-0 deficit in Game 3. You basically had the Colorado Avalanche asking themselves, what do we have to do to close this out? And Colorado was never able to find any rhythm with the lead, any type of lasting confidence to be able to put a game away, and the Golden Knights swept it. In this series, they trade victories to start in Carolina, but Vegas avoids the disastrous play in Game 3. They lead it 2-1. Is that the jumping off point where they continue the trend of first, second, and the Western Conference Final Series of getting better as they go along and removing the confidence of the opposition, in this case the Carolina Hurricanes?
Yeah, I think it can be. It's interesting, though, because I feel like even though Carolina loses that game in game number 3, they should feel encouraged by the fact that they were able to make it harder on Vegas than it should have been.
A lot like Utah was in the first round.
Sure, absolutely. So as much as I want to sit here and say, yeah, that can absolutely be the jumping off point, I think that there's still a lot of juice for Carolina, and it's there because they were able to come back in game 3. If the Golden Knights win that game 5-0 and it's just a very tidy third period and Carolina doesn't have the pushback that they do, then I think that I'm probably closer to saying, yeah, that's the game, that's the moment, that's where Vegas kind of hit another gear and the Hurricanes went away. I don't feel that way because Carolina was able to come back.
These are the historic numbers. Give you an idea of just how much hinges on tomorrow night, Game 4. Golden Knights lead it 2-1, playing Game 4 at T-Mobile Arena tomorrow night. Teams that take a 3-1 series lead in the Stanley Cup Final are 38-1. And that includes 10-1 when you start on the road, which is what the Golden Knights have done in this series. The only team to ever rally in the Stanley Cup Final and overcome a 3-1 series deficit in the Stanley Cup Championship Series was the 42 Leafs, who actually were the first team to ever erase a 3-0 series deficit. So that's extra special. Nobody's ever done it in the traditional 3-1 setting. So it's not a guarantee, and if we've learned anything from this series in particular, there are no guarantees.
No.
But the historical data says that you can take a big step tomorrow night if the Golden Knights are able to win. And the flip side of that, the Carolina Hurricanes know how much of a challenge it is going to be if they fall behind 3-1.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is for Carolina, this is as much of a must-win game as you can possibly have without facing elimination, right? Like, they need to find a way. They must find a way to avoid going down 3-1 to the Vegas Golden Knights. Even though they'll be going home, even though they'll have the opportunity to play on home ice to extend the series, the Golden Knights have won in that building, right? Like, they went and took care of Game 1. They were 10 minutes away from winning Game 2. Like, there's a lot to like about the Golden Knights on the road in the playoffs this year. So it's not a guarantee. For Carolina, the series hinges in a lot of ways on whether or not they get a win in game number 4.
Now, here's my pushback to the history.
Okay.
Is the Carolina Hurricanes have already been in this situation. And it happened in Game 2.
Okay.
Because falling behind 2-0, dropping both games at home to start a Stanley Cup Final would have been devastating to the Carolina Hurricanes. I talked about it with Ray Ferraro on the pregame show on Scripps Sports and KTNV ahead of game number 2. And he said the difference between the Stanley Cup Final being down 1-0 going into Game 2 at home and the Eastern Conference Final being down 1-0 going into Game 2 to the Montreal Canadiens was night and day. because of the machine that the Vegas Golden Knights are. And Carolina, in a dire situation in that third period in Game 2, were able to respond. So that's what Rod Brind'Amour will be selling to his team, is you've been here once before in this series already against that team in the Golden Knights, and you found a way to win. Now Vegas, they were the half a period away from taking a 2-0 series lead, and
sure.
the numbers in that, when you win both games on the road in a final, like it's just as overwhelming as when you're up 3-1 in a Stanley Cup Championship Series. They were that close to being there. Tomorrow night, you want to make sure that you execute the entire night.
Absolutely. I mean, you can look at it from a Golden Knights perspective, and they're a 5-minute stretch away in game number 2 of having a 3-0 series lead in this one. Like there's a lot that could be different kind of going into game number 4 and what could potentially happen the rest of the series. But I think for Vegas, like, they have had an ability to put the puck in the back of the net. They have not had an issue scoring goals in this series. What I think you'd love to see if you're a Golden Knights fan is if they're able to get a lead in Game 4, if they're able to get up on Carolina, they've got to find a way to prevent the Hurricanes from storming back. And again, I don't look at the third period in Game 3 and say that it was a situation where the Golden Knights took their foot off the gas, or they were under siege, or they were overwhelmed, or anything like that. It's just the weird things that tend to happen in the Stanley Cup final. You've got to find a way, and I don't know the answer to it, but you've got to find a way to prevent them from happening.
I don't remember weird things happening in the Stanley Cup final like this. It's odd.
I mean, it does feel
it's unprecedented,
right?
that it happens in a final. Usually you get to this stage and there's great games. A lot of outstanding hockey's been played at this point of the Stanley Cup playoffs, but not the oddness, strange plays. And there's no bad goals either. It's just these momentum swings, and I'll give Nick Dowd all the credit in the world. He and I caught up before the start of this series, and he grabbed me by the arm and said, "The team that wins this is going to be the one that's going to be able to control the momentum swings." And there's going to be momentum swings in this series with these two teams, with these two buildings. And I don't know what crystal ball he was looking at, but it was he can tell some fortunes. I'll go to him to look into the future from now on. He can tell me which stocks to buy.
But to your point about it being unprecedented and this being so wild through 3 games, do you have a reason? Can you hazard a guess as to why we have witnessed what we've witnessed over the first 3 games?
Yeah, two confident teams, shift? Two teams that love how they play, that feel great about themselves and are never out of it. We know that from being around the Vegas Golden Knights, night by night. Carolina feels the same way. They fully believe that they're the better team and that they can win this series. The Golden Knights equally confident on the other side, and there's just a confidence, belief, swagger to both sides that they can win low scoring or they can win high scoring. Let's get into some reaction from earlier today. Tomas Hertl was at the podium. He was joined by Jeremy Lauzon talking about the series, the practice, the environment at CNA earlier today, and also Game 4.
Your group collectively, the forwards, have done a really good job during the entire playoffs and coming back to help the defense. Could you just speak to the mindset that has gone into blocking shots, disrupting passes, and why it's been so effective?
Yeah, especially in playoffs, you can't win without that. That's almost sometimes more important than, scoring goals or making plays. Just play hard, block shots and everything. And that's why we right now in the finals, because all 20 guys on the ice doing exactly playoff is about. And I think what I'm here over 2 years was first start with defense, make sure like we have everything covered in defense and we have enough skills to get out of the way. And I think we do a really good job, and helping the RD, but they have some tough nights because we lose some guys during the games, so they have 5 Ds to bail out and just trying them to help out. But the block shots and the little stick details it's all matters. Sometimes I just say it's bigger than any goals.
Right side front row, Jesse.
For Tomas, what changes, if anything, for you if you're facing a goalie who catches with his right instead of his left?
Honestly, we actually face, I'm right, Vejmelka was other way, so I don't really look it up, it's like, obviously we have some videos, or like you look before the games, how to score, but sometimes it's just like the moment when it comes, you look it up and you're looking for the space, and I don't think so it's a big difference, we don't really focus who will play the goalie for them, we just want to make sure we play even better game next game because we know it's a big one, and doesn't matter who is in the net when you have traffic and you around the net, every goalie have tough time.
Right side, fourth row, Vince.
Jeremy, you played in some over here. You played in some loud barns. Obviously, first year in Vegas, it's been packed in T-Mobile Arena. From Game 3 to the practice today, how does that help you on a day like today with 2 days off, getting ready for another big one in Game 4?
Yeah, well, we definitely feel the support of the community. It's been amazing. It brings us, it gives us a lot of energy during games. During the practice today, it was fun to have them out there chanting for us. So, no, I love playing here and playing against, in front of those fans. It's been great.
Right side, second row, Aaron.
Tomas, why has it been so hard to maintain momentum for both sides in this series, and how do you settle things down in Game 4?
Honestly, it's kind of a tough question because, yeah, like you probably can see all 3 games is kind of crazy, it's never chill down, and it's how I always say I think it's supposed to be, Stanley Cup final is supposed to be easy, but obviously last game, if it's happened again, like we don't want to if we get up like that, we don't want to get in a situation, but it was crazy what actually happened because I think when we're talking after the game, especially the last one, I don't think so we play bad hockey, like we give up, like we thought so it will be easy. It's just come, every shot was like perfect, through the guys, through the hole, and obviously you have to be just stay patient sometimes a little more, don't get, too aggressive because like, the goals come quickly, looks like, but you have to just keep playing. Honestly, I don't have a good answer to how things to change, not to give up 2 goals quickly like that or 3, but so it's happened, it's kind of behind us now. We just focus on moving forward, but honestly, I think it's probably the final looks like it will be like that all the way through the end, and kind of we have to enjoy it at the same time.
Left side, third row, Tracy.
Jeremy, I'll ask you this. You guys have been playing well regardless of where you've been arena-wise, but you've got a chance to go up 3-1 tomorrow night. And how critical is that? How much do you need to take advantage of this at home, especially?
Yeah, well, obviously in a cup final, every game is important. Now we have the chance to go up 3-1. So it's a huge game for us, but I know they're going to come prepared, we're just going to have to be a better team.
Left side, front row.
Jeremy, Torch talked about this the other night, but in 23, neither were you here in terms of camaraderie, and the main theme was how close they were on and off the ice. Since you've been here, do you see that, and how important is that, to an overall success?
Yeah, well, the second I stepped in that room, being a year, me and Colton Sissons were talking, and you kind of feel how close everybody is and how knit that team is, and I think it's one of the reasons why we had that run too in the playoff this year. We didn't have the best season, but we found a way to make playoff and to win our division, and now we got hot at the right time. And, and it's been an unbelievable group to be a part of, and I feel like I'm lucky to be in that room and to be able to compete every night with those guys beside me.
In that same row, Danny.
Jeremy, you take away those 40 seconds in third the other night. Did you like the response defensively that you guys had after that?
Yeah, well, obviously, it was a crazy 39 seconds. They came back, they pushed. They're a good team. We know they're capable of scoring goals. But I thought overall we kind of settled down and we kept playing our game. And I think we have a lot of resiliency in this room. And I think we showed up. We showed it again last night.
We'll take one more in English. Standing on the left, Andrew.
Tomas, when you think of a couple of years ago, injuries, losing in San Jose, how gratifying is it to be performing at this level after where you were a few years ago?
Yeah, it's always, it's really nice to be right now here, that's, you kind of, I was coming to here, have the hope, have the chance to fight for what I'm fighting all my career, and you just appreciate it every moment, I just enjoy it like this, like today practice, sold out, it's just how much fun it is, even to do media we don't like to do, but it's just part of it, because you do two best teams standing, and that's why everybody look it up, everybody want to hear you. It's just all the part of it, and you have to just enjoy it and live through it, because like I said before, like when I got in third season, we got in the cup, I was like, oh, I'll be probably back, and you have a couple good runs, and after like you missing a couple of years in the row playoff, and like, did I ever come again? Do I have a chance to fight it? And you come here, it's a great team, and first two seasons we've been in the playoff, but we never get far, and now we're sitting there, we have 2 wins in Stanley Cup final. Always help to score some goals for the team, and just be part of this locker room, and how much fun we're having, it's just memories forever. But now it's this time of the year, hopefully we finish this the right way, and it will be my memory forever.
There's Tomas Hertl and Jeremy Lauzon, and they met with media earlier today, even though they don't like it a ton. Actually, that's I just want to make something clear. They don't mind the media. They don't mind talking to the media at all. They're two of the most gracious guys that I know. But during the Stanley Cup final, it's extreme. What all the players have to do. And you're watching the ABC telecast. You're seeing one player talk to here, another player talk to there. But there's NHL International, which is doing a telecast. They get an interview. There's NHL Radio doing a broadcast. They get a player. There's pregame interviews for all three of those outlets. There's rights holders like NHL Network on TV that are requesting one-on-ones with players. And then there's the local broadcasts like Fox Sports Las Vegas. And we have rights to talk to players and access to players. Carolina's radio broadcast the same way. So every player ends up doing a ton of media, and that's on game days. On off days, the dressing room's open. You get to talk to everybody. There's players to the podium that are talked to. Post game, there's players to the podium. Live hits into Sports Center with Scott Van Pelt, along with the post game on the broadcast. It's a long list, and you may not have done much in a certain game, but there's a good chance you're going to talk afterwards or during the course of this Stanley Cup final. Is there I'll exclude backup goaltenders. But is there a player we haven't heard from during the course of this, and that which started in media day? No, we've heard from everybody.
Yeah, no, 100%. And you're talking about just kind of leading into certain games, but just by virtue of doing the broadcast, right? You've got walk-off interviews, you've got post-game interviews, you've got pre-game interviews. Like, there's a lot going on, and that's just one element on the radio side of things for Fox Sports and the VGK radio network. So it's all-encompassing. It is astounding, the compartmentalization to be able to go out and play when you've got everything swirling around the players that they're dealing with over the course of this 2.5-week stretch.
19 players, excluding the backup goaltender.
Mm-hmm.
19 players on a game day in the Stanley Cup final. 15 of them will do media, like in some type of one-on-one setting with all the different outlets. Let's take a break here. When we continue, Mitch Marner talked today, coming off of his 4-point performance in the second period of Game 3, and I'll also give you my top 5 moments in order from that wonderfully entertaining and VGK win the other night. It's the VGK Insider Show on Fox Sports Las Vegas. Stay with us.
Carlson left corner, centered, one-timer, score!
It's time for One-Timers. A quick look at news and notes from around the National Hockey League. Brought to you by Paul Pata Law. It's not about the injury, it's about the recovery.
Got my top 5 list from moments in game number 3. Also tell you what Rod Brind'Amour is thinking when it comes to his goaltender for game number 4. That's straight ahead. But first, an eventful day around the Pacific Division when it comes to coaching vacancies in Edmonton and Los Angeles. ESPN and TSN in Canada, my buddy Darren Dreger, reporting that the Oilers are closing in on Mike Babcock as their next head coach. Babcock and the Oilers apparently been in talks for a little bit, to the point that Babcock has met with some players and has spoken directly with Edmonton owner Daryl Cates. The Oilers will need permission or need this hiring a green lit from the NHL and the NHLPA. Babcock was last coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets, but never actually coached the game due to allegation that he invaded players' privacy by asking to see photos on the player's phone. So the situation with Edmonton is they are zeroing in on Mike Babcock as their next head coach.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the Edmonton Oilers, we all know exactly what they need to accomplish in the next 2 years, year and a half, maybe 2 years. We'll see. With Connor McDavid and wanting to win and all of that, we know just based on the track record with Mike Babcock, what he was able to do is with the Detroit Red Wings, what he's done at various stops throughout his career. He can win. He can win it all. He's done it before. So I think for Edmonton, like you want an experienced coach. You want an experienced coach that's won before. And I'm not terribly surprised that, they're looking into Mike Babcock in this situation. The next 2 years are massive for their organization.
I'm shocked. I
Really?
didn't see it coming. And when Dregs talked to Babcock a month ago, he said, "I'm retired and I'm happy." And I thought that's where it was going to be left. So obviously there's been some conversations that have taken place. Babcock is intrigued by it. He's part of the Triple Gold Club, World Championship, Olympics, and Stanley Cup. But I'm surprised, and that it's gotten to this point. And we'll see. He's one of the best coaches not coaching in the National Hockey League.
Yeah.
Purely on a coaching front. But his last 2 stops did not end well. There was controversy. Had nothing to do with the X and O's bench management with the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Columbus Blue Jackets. Heck, he didn't even coach a game because of that situation. But when you talk about coaches not currently employed, that makes sense. I'm surprised given Mike's comments to Dregs about a month ago that they've got to that situation. Los Angeles Kings are hiring Peter Laviolette to take over from DJ Smith, and before that, DJ Smith replaced on an interim basis Jim Hiller. So Laviolette did not coach in the National Hockey League last year. Was last with the New York Rangers. Won a Stanley Cup with Carolina back in 2006. And he takes over a team that's looking for a return to relevance in the Pacific Division when it comes to challenging for playoff wins. They had a couple of good runs, pushed Edmonton, but were unable to get by them. This year they were swept in the first round by Colorado, and just looking for a more presence, a bigger presence on that bench. Also has some familiarity with Artemi Panarin, and I don't think that should be discounted at all. Panarin and Laviolette with the New York Rangers, but both the teams in the Pacific Division with coaching vacancies right now, going out and hiring significantly experienced Stanley Cup champion head coaches.
Yeah, I mean, I think that kind of underpins exactly what the next couple of years look like for the Edmonton Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings. In the case of bringing in Peter Laviolette, you're right. He's a winner. He's won before. He's got familiarity with Artemi Panarin, and I think for LA, what they're going to need is a coach that can kind of bleed into that or lean into that experience to get more out of the hockey club. So it's an interesting year because it's the first one without Anze Kopitar. How much of a transition period is there going to be? Is LA going to do anything just in terms of trades or free agency to bolster the roster? I hope yes, for their sake. But I think bringing in Peter Laviolette, again, experience, he's won before. You're going to need that to keep pace with the teams at the top of the Pacific Division.
Back to the Stanley Cup Final. The Golden Knights will play Game 4 tomorrow night against Carolina. A win, and they're up 3-1. The hero of Game 3, Shea Theodore, scored in double overtime, a table that was set because of a 4-point period by Mitch Marner. Here's the Golden Knights forward.
Do you remember when you went on the Prospects Tour and what it was like to go to the game, to meet NHL guys?
Yeah, I do. I was talking to Saturday, actually, just about how me, Jack, and Haney, and obviously there's a couple other guys there, went and watched Saturday. I think it was against Tampa when they won it that year. So I was just saying to him, it's kind of, a full moment. And, something that I always remembered. And it's cool to always, get to speak to him.
Mitch, how important is the back checking by all the forward group in giving you guys the lead in the series?
Big. Yeah, obviously we're playing a very skilled group. So they're a team that'll make you pay for mistakes, or a team that can really make you pay on the rush. So we got to keep doing a good job of coming back, helping each other out, and supporting each other.
For you personally, blocking shots, disrupting passes, it's almost been as important as your offensive exploits. Can you just talk about the mindset that you're bringing to each of these games during the postseason, defensively, to make plays?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's why we're getting a lot of good looks offensively. We're doing a good job of coming back, all three of us, breaking up plays, disrupting plays, and then from there, I think we've done a good job of making it quick to go up the ice and try to get our rush chances, or just a puck in to try to get on the forecheck. So it's been important for all three of us. I think we all want to dig in and make sure we're playing very responsible defensively.
What did you do yesterday?
Hung out with my family. Just had a nice relaxing day with the family yesterday, and then went out for dinner.
How hard is it to go from there are such a flood of emotions up and down? How do you get back to level before tomorrow night?
You forget about that game. You're happy you got the win. We looked at some stuff that we can be better at. Now there's a new opportunity to go out there and try to take another game. So, just got to be ready to go. Make sure we have that same mindset that we started with.
Is a hat trick in the Stanley Cup Final different than a hat trick in Pee Wee or in regular season or any time?
Yeah, probably. Obviously it's just it's always good to just contribute. Like I was just saying, I think all three of us really want to contribute defensively and be good with our sticks, be good with our play, and make sure that we're playing responsible on that side of the puck. It's always good to get rewarded on the offensive side as well.
Amazing part about that 4-point period the other night and the hat trick in Game 3 was there could have been more to it. And there could have been more to it from Mitch. There could have been more to it from William Karlsson and Brett Howden.
I mean, that line was tremendous. Like, you mentioned the fact that there could have been more. I mean, Mitch had a penalty shot that he was pretty close on scoring. Like, that line has been tremendous. They've been drivers for Vegas through the first 3 games of this series, and I think the explosion from Marner is going to get a lot of the headlines, and that's absolutely true. It should, but I think the addition of William Karlsson and what it's done for this team is something we can't spend enough time on, because it's solidified Vegas. It solidified their lines. It solidified so many things, and that line, that trio of players is absolutely going right now.
Looking ahead to Game 4, the Carolina Hurricanes goaltender, Frederik Andersson, who started every game for them during the 2026 run, was not on the ice today, took a maintenance day. Unusual that a goaltender wouldn't skate, because they didn't practice yesterday. Would take 2 days off, back-to-back days off during the Stanley Cup final. It's happened before, but it is just not the norm. But Rod Brind'Amour called it a maintenance day and said the 36-year-old's physically fine. He was banged up, collision with Ivan Barbashev the other night, and also took a hit earlier in the series. So from the Carolina Hurricanes perspective side of things, they say Andersson is good. 36-year-old's fine. Just took a maintenance day, and he's available for Game 4 tomorrow. Now, does he start Game 4 tomorrow? Rod Brind'Amour saying, I'm going to keep it quiet. It's the only suspenseful thing around here that I have to hold on to. It seems to have taken on a life of its own, so I kind of enjoy it. So he's having some fun with the media. Doesn't have to name his starter. It isn't baseball. But it's between Frederik Andersson, again, who started every game during this run, or Brandon Bussi, who came in relief of the third period the other night, was in goal for the 4-goal rally by the Carolina Hurricanes in the third period, and got that game to double overtime before the quirky goal off the end boards was not his fault. He's a 27-year-old guy, but this is his first full year in the National Hockey League. He's never started a Stanley Cup playoff game, so it would be new grounds for him. He played great the other night. Is starting different? Yeah. But I in my heart of hearts, I kind of see Frederik Andersson going back in there and being the goaltender. If you don't start Frederik Andersson tomorrow, he's your guy the rest of the way. If you win, that's all good. If you lose, tough spot to put Brandon Bussi in, facing elimination in Game 5.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like from the Carolina perspective, they should go to Brandon Bussi. And this is complete recency bias, but it also takes into account his regular season. And granted, he hasn't played a game in 2 months. Like, getting 45 minutes of relief action is good. It's positive. It's a good thing to come out of game number 3. But I thought he was really good. I thought he was tremendous. Now, that all being said, my gut tells me Rod Brind'Amour's going back to Freddie Andersson. That he went to Freddie to start the playoffs for a reason. Freddie's his guy, and I think that Freddie Andersson starts game number 4.
Top 5 moments from Game 3.
Okay.
In which the Golden Knights scored 4 goals in the second period that counted, 6 overall. 2 that were called off because of coach challenges. Carolina scored 4 in the third to force it to overtime, and in double overtime, Shea Theodore scored the winner. At number 5, I'll go from 5 to 1. Number 5, 2 goals called back consecutively. The first 2 goals of the game by the Vegas Golden Knights, denied by coach's challenges. They were the right calls, but given what happened in Game 2, it was just piling on. It felt like because Mark Stone and Jack Eichel scoring, the bill is going great, and then you wonder, they scored Vegas scores 2. What happens if Carolina scores 1? Like, it's just that didn't feel right. So 2 goals called back consecutively by the Carolina Hurricanes. You don't see that very often. That was unique. At number 4, Mitch Marner scoring a hat trick in 6 minutes. That's number 4, which in itself tells you how crazy of a game it was. That Mitch Marner puts up a 4-point period and a hat trick, and I have it as the 4th most memorable moment or part of Game 3. Right in the middle, at number 3, Brayden McNabb returning after being injured in Game 2 and spending most of that game at a Raleigh hospital in Carolina and returning with the team. Wasn't sure he was going to play. Goes out there with a facial protection and plays 35 minutes and has a couple of points and is +3. What an incredible performance. It's pure hockey, what Brayden McNabb did, and it was number 3, my memorable moments or memories from Game 3. In 10 years, it'll be number 1, but right now it's right in the middle. At number 2, memorable moments or memories from Game 3, a 4-0 Vegas lead in which they scored on Frederik Andersen 6 times in the second period, a lead that got away with a Carolina comeback. That is just bizarre in every facet of it. And number 1, Shea Theodore scoring a goal off the end boards that wasn't even a shot on net to end the game in double overtime. A fitting way in one of the most strange offerings or presentations in Stanley Cup final history, that the winning goal would score off a bounce off the end boards that hits the goalie and goes in. Those are my top 5 moments or memories from Game 3 in order.
Yeah, I don't have any issue with your order. I would probably, just because it's it's something Golden Knights fans don't want to highlight from that game, I'd probably put the Hurricanes' third period comeback further down the list. I'd move Brayden McNabb up to number 2, quite honestly, and I'd put the comeback from Carolina into the 3 spot right in the middle. But I don't have any issue with your ranking overall.
There's some games where there's not 5.
Yeah, that's fair.
I left a lot of stuff on the table there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it was one of those games. Like, I don't know that I've ever been a part or watched or seen a game that was that ridiculous. I mean, it was unhinged. And the reality is, every game has had elements of that, has had moments of that, and I can't get out of my head that we're not in store for something even more crazy moving forward.
Or we get a Game 4 that's 2-1 with shots are 19-17.
Yeah, why are you trying to rain on my hopes and dreams? I don't know. I'm here for the chaos.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, why not?
Yeah.
Final thoughts. We'll wrap it up. Looking ahead to Game 4, Fox Sports Las Vegas. This is the VGK Insider Show.
That was One-Timers. One-Timers. Brought to you by Paul Pata Law. It's not about the injury. It's about the recovery.
I'm on fire over here, lads. Come on, I need some back and forth. Come on, what do you got for me? What do you got for me? Now make it quick. Make it funny.
We're down to the wire. It's the last minute of play.
Here's something for you. The other night was the first Stanley Cup final game at T-Mobile Arena since Game 5 in 2023 when the Golden Knights closed out the Florida Panthers. Yeah. What happened in 2023? Remember 9-3 Vegas?
Yep.
One in a row. They scored 4 goals in the second period to beat the Florida Panthers. The first Stanley Cup final since then, the Golden Knights scored 4 goals in the second period against the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, very different finishes between those two games. But if they score 4 goals again tomorrow in the second period, we got a trend, an official thing happening.
They're nothing if not consistent.
How about that? Now, as far as what to expect tomorrow night, things started slowly, I would say conservatively, in Game 3. Was that because the teams had flown across the country and were just finding their legs kind of thing? After 2 days off, what does it do to the game pace? Does everybody, after taking a breath, settle into a more traditional game, or does the chaos continue? I'm leaning towards, like, what we saw the first 3 games will run its course, and we'll get a little more of what we consider to be normal hockey.
Yeah, I don't want to lean into that because I'm here for the chaos. I think the first 3 games have been so fun and so entertaining, and you know I've kind of said, if you're not a person with a dog in this fight, you're just a hockey fan. This is awesome. But I think conventional wisdom would tell us, just based on what we've seen through the first 3 rounds of the playoffs, things will settle in. And I'd like it to not settle in, but I think it will too.
What's at play here is either team falls behind. They're just going to, the coach is going to tell them, they're going to be telling each other, it's not over. Remember Game 1. Remember Game 2. Remember Game 3. Whatever side you're on, whether you're victorious in that situation, you're going to be reminded of that by everybody around you.
Absolutely. Again, no lead has been safe, so got to lean into that.
VGK Insider Show will return on Wednesday. Tomorrow, Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final on Fox Sports Las Vegas. Pre-game show starts at 4 o'clock. Enjoy.